Hello everyone, this is Zezku, the Gaming Celestron, here with something out of the usual. To me, yes. For everyone out there that has actually done commentaries on this such, or this mode in general, we're going to be talking about Titanfall 2's Frontier Defense for PC, Xbox, or PS2, whatever platform you play on. This is the PC version. I do have the Xbox One version. This is by far my most played mode ever since 2017. Now, back to that point. So, Titanfall 2 came out in 2016 around the holidays, and it was basically in between two other popular games like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Very bad launch for that. But those actually bought it actually and played it. But no, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the mode that came out basically in 2017. Let's go back 3 years. Let's take it back. It's around this time we're getting 3 new maps from Titanfall 1, a new Titan, and the new maps for the live fire. Titan Brawl was now just starting off. To top it all off, a brand new mode was returning from Titanfall 1. So it's this mode that has been going strong for the last 3 years. Frontier Defense with a twist. So it's 5 waves and 2 retries throughout this entire mode. And you gain credits and all this other such, but it comes with a big, hefty cost. No Titans in Wave 1 at all. After Wave 1, you do get to choose 1 Titan. And that's your Titan buddy for the entirety of the match. And no ifs, ands, buts. Now, let's jump. That's jumping the gun. But first, what can you basically get after each wave? Well, credits. Now, before we continue with the credits, let me just say, whatever pilot weaponry that you choose, that doesn't matter. You can swap between any weaponry just to have fun with this mode. That's it. So, what you earn after each wave is 700 on the regular difficulty, 600 on the hard difficulty, 500 on master, 400 on the insane difficulty. Flawless waves is when the harvester takes no damage. You see that oh so lovely 100% health bar with a small shield. The shield that could basically take damage all at once, but it's that 100% that you have to worry about. It's right near the pilot icons. That has to stay at 100%, or if it takes damage, you got to make sure it doesn't take damage ever again. Wave MVP. You're just basically killing stuff faster and doing the most damage and supporting your allies as quickly and fast as possible. That's that. Deathless. Oh dear lord, this is by far the best, the challenging one of the entire I should say game, because it gets harder from hard to master, because there will be deaths. And yes, I may be good at this game. I do die in all the difficulties, but it's how you die and how you basically mess up. Watch your health, watch everything. But now, what do you spend all this money on? What do you spend all this money on? Like, you're earning all this money. What can you do? What could you buy? Well, that's what this mode brings. The armory. The armory. Yes, the armory. So, the armory is where you can basically buy perks. You can basically buy amp weapons. That basically, what amp weapons does in the multiplayer, it basically doubles the damage of your weapon output for a short period of time in multiplayer. However, in Titanfall, in the Frontier Defense, it's basically a permanent upgrade until you die, until your first death. Amp batteries allow your Titans, well, they actually work like regular batteries. They grant health, they grant shields, they grant 10% core to the core build meter of your Titan's core, and allow you to basically get your Titan back in the fight. That's what the amp battery does. But what the amp battery doesn't does as well, it brings the Titan out of doom state with a 25% health to it. So basically, time it right, you got a Titan, your Titan's still in doom state after the previous wave, and you still want to keep it congratulations, you could just use an AM battery and bring it back out of Doomsday. It's $400, so you will be making a lot of money at the end of round or during the round. And now let's go back to the amp weapons. That is the cheapest upgrade. 100 is not a bad cost. Moving on, Nuke Rodeo. I've heard a lot of people saying that this is like by far the best for lane control management. Yes, I don't use it. I use it. I mean, I'll buy it, but I'll use it whenever I can. This, however, inserts a corrupted battery into a Titan and starts nuke eject. The highest recommendations that people like doing is putting on the nuke Titans because they're slow. They do a lot of good splash damage, and you still can die from that. That costs $500 from the armory. Arc traps. Oh boy, this is by far the popular. This let's tell during when the game launched. If you look back at the old videos of Frontier Defense, this trap was basically $500 a piece till Respawn gave it a price nerf from 500 to 650. It's still not bad, still not a bad change, but it still gets the job done. It's an AOE trap that deals damage to everything. It stuns minor units, it stuns Titans, it stuns Reapers, every enemy that you're going to face in this mode. Sentry turrets are back in action. It's a returning defense little building from Titanfall 1. You got it at the end of each wave, but here it's basically one of the expensive things to get. You can only get 2 per person. That's basically it. So basically, place it wisely. It's good for shooting down drones and dealing with light infantry, wherever you're out on the front lines, dealing with everything else that could come kill it. The turrets can basically deal with Titans, but it's not worth it. Their health is so small, they'll be shut down immediately to everything. So pay attention. If your turret goes down, go back or someone on your team can probably repair it. Yes, people can repair the turrets. You can move them. Last but not least, we have the Emergency Harvester Shields coming in at another whopping 1,200. Yes, same as the turret. But this one is like by far the most used one. It's a last-ditch effort when you're overwhelmed. It basically grants the Harvester with a powerful overshield that makes it immune. The shield cannot be taken down for a short period of time. What's good? It's great against mainly Nuke Titans because Nuke Titans, once they break the shield, they do an additional 5% of damage, or depending on how percentage to the health. I don't know the numbers exactly, but it's a big whopping number, and it actually helps keep the Harvester alive much longer. So keep in mind, don't stray too far. Never doubt that upgrade at all. Now, infantry. Oh, this is a big one. We got returning infantry. We got new infantry. Everything's everything. For starters, we have grunts. These are basically the workhorses, like of all the infantries. You're going to see them. They're like a returning enemy from Titanfall 1. You have stalkers. They have more health than the grunts, but they know how to take a beating, and they can rush the Harvester and detonate. They will actually work like Suicide Spectres from Titanfall 1. Mortar Spectres. Okay, they've actually Respawn has changed up the Mortar Spectre, the Spectres in general, and changed it to a mortar class unit, infantry unit though. So it no longer charges the Harvester. It lobs rockets uses archers to lob rockets at the Harvester. The cloak drones are returning enemy as well, and they cloak everything from infantry to Titans. Watch out for those. Plasma drones, new enemy type. This was featured in the campaign. If people have played the campaign, know what they look like. If not, they're basically little swirlings with a little gun on them. I don't know how to put it for you. They do charge the Harvester. They do damage to any friendly unit that on your team. They also attack Titans doing chip damage, but that chip damage can add up over time since you normally don't use shields at the time. They'll drain the shield quickly. Then they'll circle around in a loop and still do damage to the Harvester. Just make sure that you deal with them as quickly as possible on the way to the Harvester As I said, sentry turrets in good positions can knock that down and build your Titan's core meter up. The Reaper is a new unit. It's basically a mini little Titan. It can do two things. One, it can set up somewhere and launch ticks. And basically those ticks will just roam. Those are roaming ticks. The second part, it'll charge the Harvester and attack the using Reaper rockets. Ticks are a new enemy unit. This is what is another suicidal unit that also replaced the Suicide Spectre. The only difference is that this unit does not, I repeat, does not give money at all. Titans have returned from Frontier, have returned as well. This is by far one of the best. The best. Other than facing 3, you've got 7, potential 7 regular Titans to fight. That's basically it. Unless you want, well, okay. The Titan classes will range from Ion, Scorch, North Star, Ronin, Tone, Legion, and Monarch. Every Titan will not have shields on regular and easy. Master and Insane, well, regular, easy, regular, and hard. Their Titans will not have shields except one type. Playing on, Master and Insane difficulty, they will have shields. All Titans will have shield except 2 Titan classes. Arc Titan. Well, actually no. Before we continue with Arc Titan, yes, you will face every Titan depending on the map. Arc Titan is a returning enemy from Titanfall 1's Frontier Defense. This Titan cannot be rodeoed. I cannot stress this enough. I've seen many people just walk into that aura field and die. I've done it too. But what the Arc Titan does is that the electrical aura drains shield like no one's business. It's a serious threat to the Harvester. It also drains shields from Titans and deals damage. I mean, literally deals damage to around an area effect-wise. So if you have your Titan and you don't have shields, it's literally you gotta kill it quick. But that's basically it. It's a Ronin class Titan. More Titans have returned as well from Titanfall 1. This Titan will stay at the edge of the map and lob rockets at the Harvester. This Titan will appear on different maps. And this Titan won't have shields on any difficulty. This and the Arc Titan will not have shields because exactly. But it's basically the Mortar Titan will be a Tone Chassis Titan, meaning it will have a particle wall for defense. The Sniping Titan is a new Titan type that will range from 2 Titan types mainly, North Star and Tone. And they will set up anywhere on the map. Some of them will not set up anywhere to fire at the Harvester, but they'll still fire at you. But some will actually get close to the Harvester and fire it from a distance. So be wary of that. And last but not least of all the Titans that you will be facing, we have the Nuke Titan. The granddaddy of Titan variety. This Titan will have shields no matter what difficulty. The Titan will always walk slow to the Harvester. Once it gets to the Harvester, it will blow up. Watch your mini-maps carefully. If you're not watching a flank, this Titan will sneak up and deal massive damage. I mean massive. You're looking at shields are gone. Shields will tank that sucker like no one's business. But you will lose at least 15% of the Harvester's health. At least. There's no 5%, no nothing. I've seen Nuke Titans just blow up from 100% almost all the way down to 5% of Harvester health. It's unchecked. You gotta keep those Arc Titans and Nuke Titans away because those are the 2 serious threats. Have your roamers deal with the Mortar Titans if you have roamers. If not, have your faster Titans deal with it. I cannot stress this enough. Moving on, we have Titans. The Titans. Now, I did state about the mode that you can only choose 1 Titan at the start of the match. Now, you can choose 1. You have varied ranges from. You have Ion, you have Scorch, North Star, Ronin, Tone, Legion, and Monarch. These 7 Titans are really good at the way that your playstyle is. But to those that don't, I'm going to say this downright and tell you there are a lot of kits, these regular Titan kits that you might love to adore and enjoy, but you are missing out on the biggest potentials with some of them. And I mean 2 of them. I've seen people run these things. First off, we are the only Titan kits that you should be really good at or good viable in this mode is Turbo Engine. It's great for Ion, North Stars, Tone, and Monarch. I mean, Ronin could run it too, but it hurts him more. I mean, I've seen, and with the Ogre class, I mean, a faster cooldown on your dash, that's great, but it's not worth it. Overcore is a must use. You will see it every single time on everyone that uses Titans, because that is 10% of the starting core, or that's 20% of the starting core already to your Titan. That is 2 batteries. That's 20% to the core meter, and it allows you to do a lot of stuff. Nuki Jack is viable. I am not going to say that it is a terrible idea, but let's just say I'm very mixed between it, because one, I don't like doing Nuki Jack if I can't help it, but I'd never run it on all my Titans. So I say the only viable Titan for it is Ronin, because of what that Titan can do when we get to him. The assault chip, the counter. Oh, actually, no. Before we get to that, counter ready can be viable. I'm not going to back down of it. It can be viable if you want to basically set up a smoke or have an extra smoke. Go ahead, you can do that. But pick the overcore. You're gonna have smokes faster by using your core abilities. One of the 2 is assault chip and stealth audio eject. These 2 are fucking trash. I'm sorry for bringing up the big F word here. Yeah, they are trash. I've seen many people or players choose odd assault chip instead of using their Titan. If you're doing it for a challenge, go right ahead, but you are harming your team in every way possible. If you're playing on the harder difficulties like Master Insane, you don't have the luxury of infinite ammo on your anti-Titan weapon. Yes, limit infinite ammo is a thing. From easy to hard, you have infinite ammo on your entire anti-Titan weaponry. You don't have the luxury on Insane or Master, because they pull this from the multiplayer on that part. So watch your ammo and you'll be fine. Ion, the attack roamer style Titan. It is basically based off the Atlas chassis Titan from Titanfall 1. For those that have played a lot of Ion in PvP, know how this game works. This is basically a beginner's Titan. But for those that are new to this game, don't know how Ion works, let's go over what Ion is do. All Ion's kits revolve around a singular energy pool. This pool basically powers all of Ion's defenses, her tactical, and her ordnance. First off, let's start off with the ordnance. The offensive that this Titan uses. Well, actually, no. Before we do that, this Titan is very well. I didn't say this, but be careful of your power management in Titanfall. In Titan vs Titan, you will need to know that. But for now, Ion uses the Splinter Rifle. This rifle is, well, basically people say that this is the poor man's version. It's basically sucks and everything, but it really depends if you like using your gun a lot. Normally, this gun fires 1 bullet, doesn't consume energy at all. But when aiming down sights, you'll see that the gun opens up a bit and it can fire 3 bullets for the price of 1. That taps into Ion's energy pool, and it can consume that thing so quickly. Power Shot is Ion's main offensive, and this does a lot of damage. This is basically the core building function of your Titan's core. Laser tripwire mines basically is your or is your tactical. It lays down 3 wires. Any unit that crosses that is an insta kill. No ifs, ands, or buts, but it does deal massive damage to Titans. The Vortex Shield is a returning defensive option from Titanfall 1. Now, this time it's tied to Ion, meaning that the longer you hold down the shield, the more consumption of energy that you use. When it's not in use, you are literally, I mean literally, the pool will recharge over so often. Now, how to crunch numbers of laser mechanics? Laser shot does 50% of your energy pool, so you can fire at least 2 without before it needs recharge if you want to do so. There's like a 0.1 second cooldown before you use it again, so it's nothing to worry about. Trip mine uses 30%, but there is a cooldown, so you can't spam it over and over again. Now let's get on with the main core of Ion, Laser Core. Oh my gosh, this is a really fun thing. This destroyed a lot of Titans. It has the highest damage potential of all a lot of damage potential of a lot of Titans. Can do massive damage and everything. I could just gush over this. I mean, it's really fun to fight against and fun to play with. So have fun with that. But for it can, and I do mean that it's fun to do. It can basically downright doom Titans or kill them, depending on the Titan class. Striders, it's a downright kill. It's a downright death sentence. Atlas class Titans, can be a downright death sentence, depending on the Titan you're playing with and if they know how to avoid the laser core. Ogres, they will be doomed or have about 25% of left of their hull with a single ion charge. It takes into account if they're using their defenses, because laser core literally just blows through that. Let's get on with Ion's kit. There's a lot to work here with Ion. Like, if you want to have fun with this is fairly interesting. First off, we have Entangled Energy. Now, as I said before, crits, when Titans don't have shields in regular or hard, this is basically a really good kit for it. See, hitting crits with the splitter rifle recharges that energy pool. And by doing so, that means you have access. You can basically get your access back to a lot of things. And oh, I also forgot to mention this. Like, when you fire laser core, it does not tap into the energy pool. So you're actually good on that. Just be wary though, because when you do laser core, you are locked out of dashing. You can dash once before it fires, but you don't gain control of any other weaponry till laser core is over. Moving on, we have tripwire, 0-point tripwire. Tripwire mines no longer need 30% of the energy pool. That's actually kind of good thing. I've seen Ion and Ions love to use this, because who would want to use a resource on a Titan that uses energy resources, but it has a kit that can, shall I say, require no energy. But there is a downside. You can't. The cooldown is still there, so you can't spam it to high heaven and back. I know, but still, it's there. You can have fun with it. Everything. The next one we have a Vortex Amplifier. This increases the Vortex return damage when the Vortex is blocking something. It will return it to basically 35% more damage, meaning you can do a lot more damage and basically to Titans and stuff like that. Not a bad pick at all. Grand Cannon, laser core lasts longer, and yes, yeah, that's basically it. But if you basically fully upgrade this on the Apex, on your Titan, and well, you get the idea. It lasts longer. You can do a lot more stuff. I mean, the upgrades, all the Aegis ranks upgrades on every Titan, I forgot to say this, are worth looking into if you want to basically go at max rank them all or upgrade them all. Let's see here. What else do we have? And last but not least, we have Refraction Lens. Now, splitter rifle will not will, instead of will fire 5 bullets when aiming down sight instead of 3. The energy consumption remains the same. So, while we're on the topic of Ion, Ion is basically an offensive and support, offensive and roaming Titan. It's by far one of the other roaming Titans in the mode, other than Ronin. Yes, we're gonna get to Ronin in a bit because Ronin is like, I don't need to say anything about Ronin yet because I want to save that when we get to see what Ronin can do. But Ion is perfectly good the way it is because Ion can do with great power management. Ion can basically be very offensive in your face because of the vortex shield and using the tripwire mines as well as laser shot, the Grang, and laser core. It's the same as and Ion's a great roamer too because it has some good it has great mobility still. You don't count it out, and yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. So let's move on to the next Titan, shall we? Scorch. Scorch, the tank Titan, the lane control Titan. It basically bursts everyone into flames. Scorch is one of the ogre class Titans in this game, next to a Legion. For the records, when Scorch launched, it was basically one of the hardest Titans to play with, or yeah, because it was countered by everything. It was sitting in a rough place for years. Even though they tried, Scorch was still viable in LTS, but when Frontier Defense came, it sang praises. The Scorch Choir loved this because it's a lane control Titan. It fit around what Scorch can do. Now, let's get into the meat. Let's cut open that steak that has been grilling on the fire. All right, Scorch uses a thermite launcher, not just any thermite launcher. This is the T-203 thermite launcher. This is basically the main primary weapon. Scorch's other kits is a firewall, incendiary traps, and his defensive is the thermal shield. By default, thermal incendiary traps are 2. Now, you can get basically in Frontier Defense, you can get MVP so quickly with this Titan by everything. You've seen my Scorch. You've seen me basically play the Scorch videos. You've seen all my Scorch gameplay. You've seen how I play this Titan. How it can be given MVP quickly. Now on a side note, please watch What the Harvester. Well, yeah, 7% the shield. Yeah, side notes because I want to see what the Duke Titan did. So yeah, it's 1 full shield plus 7% of Harvester health. It's dang close to 15%. Don't get me wrong. But back to the Scorch. Scorch is beautiful in this mode. If you have a heavy lane controlled map, like for example, Rise, Dry Dock, Blackwater Canal, Scorch is the king. The king! And he takes no for an answer. Scorch takes no for an answer. But everything's great about Scorch. You got a lot of utility with Scorch. You can basically build up Scorch's core even without the Aegis ranks upgraded Frontier Defense, because if you're running Overcore, which you should be doing in this Titan, you can basically get Flame Core over and over and over again and just basically just melt the competition. And that's how you get MVP. Now, to get to the kits, these are the best part of the kits. You have 5 to choose from as usual, but these are actually really good still. First up, we have Wildfire Launcher. This increases the damage and the thermite from your primary weapon. Not bad, not bad. A damage increase in this mode, really good. Next up, we have Tempered Plating. Oh, this is what all Scorch mains run. I'm not going to kid you. Immune to getting rid of your critical and walking in your fire, just to say, hey, you're not allowed to play in this area. I'm going to rush you with my thermal shield up. That's what this kit can do. Next we have Inferno Shield. Thermal shield duration lasts longer, and it deals more damage. That's not bad either. No, that's really good. That's still one of the good shit. Scorch's kits are really good. And fuel for the fire. Your cooldown of your tactical for firewall is dropped by 2 seconds. Yes, 2 seconds. It's worth mentioning that. And Scorched Earth, the final upgrade in which I've run on my Scorch in Frontier Defense. When using Flame Core, you literally leave a trail of thermite in its wake. This deal, if it doesn't doom the Titan downright, this extra damage will doom the Titans and will handle nuke Titans if they're still alive, if you have your entraps or reloading your gun. But yes, try all these kits in the Frontier Defense. If you get Rise or Blackwater now, you will see everything. Just make sure that you are literally holding down everything. Well, holding down lanes. And with that, we're gonna go on to another Titan. We're gonna be going to Northstar. Northstar, the offensive role Titan, and is basically based off the Strider class Titan, one of the two. This is by far another fun Titan to play with, because not only that you can run Overcore or shall I say, turbo engine on, this Titan builds its core fast regardless. And let's just get down to it. This is by far, Northstar is a sniping Titan and uses the plasma railgun, which is one of the best Titan sniping weapons in the game with Titan versus Titan combat. Deals massive damage when the railgun is charged up. If it hits a crit, it does a big chunk of the bar of a Titan, like 1 bar plus I think a quarter of it by default without it having instant damage. It's got cluster missile as its offense. It has hover for its utility and for utility or tactical, and for technically. It's got another utility. It's tether traps. The main defense that Northstar has is in fact terrain, the map terrain. It's the only thing that will keep Northstar alive. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because Northstar doesn't have a particle wall. It doesn't have a gun shield. It doesn't have a sword block. It doesn't have vortex or thermal shield. It's right up there with Monarch, but Monarch has energy siphon. But Northstar has core is by far one of the neutral cores. It's still the better core of all the Titan. It's not an I win button like every core in the game. You have Flight Core. What Flight Core does is in fact that it just launches unguided rockets at a target, but these rockets do splash damage, so it's not that bad. It's really good pairing if you're using arc traps with your tether traps, everything like that. And if you basically tether a unit or enemy Titan doing its job, you can basically Flight Core or do a lot of those things. Nuke Core is actually viable on this Titan. I don't see it as, because this is one of the fastest Titans in the game, other than Ronin. I keep saying Ronin. Don't worry, he's up next. I guarantee it, because he's one of the best Titans for this mode. But don't get me wrong, Northstar is really good for this mode, especially when you're on maps that actually use a lot of Titans. Lane control is in fact a thing. And a lot of potential damage that Northstar can do with her kits is in fact a huge thing. For example, let's just dive right in to these kits. They're a mixed bag, so you have 2 good ones and Three bad ones. Yes, I say bad ones. The first one is uh, piercing shot. Piercing shot. This is by far the go-to um, kit I've used in North Star since the launch of Titanfall 1. This will basically punch right through Titans if stacked up properly. You can do a lot of damage. There's no trade-off, no damage trade-off for this. What the damage trade-off? But there is a trade-off. If you have an allied Titan in front of you, you won't get that piercing shot through, because the game will recognize that you are in front of an ally, and the piercing shot will not go through. I've tried. It sucks. So be careful where your allies are standing, and yeah. Next up, we have enhanced payload. We got potential here. It's just faster cooldown. It's just a better cooldown on your on the cluster missiles. It makes them more available. Twin traps, useful with one of North Star's Aegis ranks upgrades. Don't get me wrong, it's still viable, but it's all right. It's still not. It's still a bit trash. It's still okay, but it's still part of that mixed bag of the kit. Viper thrusters. By far, every North Star main that I've talked to have picked this. The reason why, it does two things. When using hover, you have more mobility, and when using flight core, you have a lot of mobility. It's basically you have control, a lot of control. You are a flying Titan, like you would in the campaign. The worst kit that we have is threat optics. It's bad. It's terrible. The thing is with North Star is it's an offensive Titan. It has the offensive role. What you're supposed to be doing is basically sniping from a distance and dealing a lot of damage. But sometimes you will have to tread outside that comfort zone and literally play the roamer rank. You cannot tank in this Titan. There's no possible way. You have to literally, play the Titan to its best intentions, and probably go more if you have if you can do a better North Star than what your roamers can do. But be mindful, once you commit to the roaming part, you have to be quick on your feet to return. And that says that instantly. Just be mindful of your map awareness and surroundings. Always return back to where you are lane controlling, just to help the team out with extra damage. Tether traps, cluster missiles, everything, the whole shebang. Flight core, give them hell. Up next, we have the Grandmaster of Roaming, Ronin. Ronin, the second Strider class Titan in the Titanfall game, in Titanfall 2 mainly. This is by far the best roamer role that was given when Titanfall 2 launched. Ronin is by far the hardest Titan to use for any new players. This is a Star 3 Titan. Yes, look over it in the menus. Ion is 1, Scorch is 3, North Star is 2, Ronin is 3, Tone is 2, Legion is 2, Monarch is 3. These are really hard Titans to use, because Ronin's kit is really hard. There are guides out there how to master Ronin, how to do everything in the player versus player combat. But what about Frontier Defense? What about this mode? Ronin is still difficult to master, and because of his roaming role, you have to be everywhere, like a speed little high octane little devil, just to do everything. First off, Ronin is equipped with a primary weapon called the Lead Wall Shotgun. The design is based off the triple threat from Titanfall 1. It was a grenade launcher. You can tell by its design. The reload is the same and everything. The offensive is the Arc Wave. This destroys particle walls and stuns enemies while dealing damage in the process. The tactical is phase dash, so you can basically phase in and out of existence for a short period of by dashing in any direction that you are holding on the movement stick or um, your keyboard. By default, if you're not holding down any buttons, you are basically going forward. The defense on Ronin is sword block. This is by far the only shielding ability that you can hold up infinitely without any issues. It won't take any damage, but yes, you'll all incoming damage is reduced. However, let's just say you do take damage still. It's but minor chip damage to the hull. So just always use sword block whenever you get a chance. Now to the core. Ronin's core is sword core. That big blade on the back of the Titan is not for show. It is his melee, and he uses it for arc wave and his defense. It's like, oh look, it's a beautiful little sword, but it's actually one of the best Titan killing blades of all. It does massive damage. Massive. It can kill Titans in 3 shots within a minimum of 3 swipes. Doom them in about 3 and 1 and basically 1 or 2 swipes into the doom state just to kill them downright. And that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of damage right there. How can you do this? Well, it's like I said, this is a Titan that you have to master, and I've seen a lot of players master this Titan so quickly in the competitive scene because this is a pilot killing Titan. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's what you do with this Titan. You kill pilots in the player versus player combat. In frontal defense, same thing, but you're just killing Titans. Now, Ronin is great at basically roaming. He is a roamer. He basically he's a flanker. He's always on the flank. This Titan can deal with those pesky mortar Titans far better than an Ion can. But if you don't have an Ion, Ronin is a go-to. You have a lot of stuff to do. A lot of things. And you can basically achieve a lot of combat score with this Titan if you leave it unchecked or in every other possible way. Because Ronin's sword core, paired with a certain Titan kit that I'm going to get to, is in fact one of the best for this mode. But now let's get to the kits. Ronin has 5 kits, just as every other Titan has except one. We're going to get to her at the end of this video. Or whenever we're going to get to her, like later on. Ronin has first kit is ricochet rounds. This is a meme core. This is a meme kit. What it does is that when using your primary weapon, the rounds will ricochet off any surface, still doing damage, but it's not. It's okay. It's alright to use. Next up, we have Thunderstorm. This grants 2 arc waves for extra damage. It's really good because in case you have double potentials of destroying particle walls and everything like that in this mode to dealing with the mortar Titans. It's alright. I ran it the first time this when the game launched, so it's still got potential. Temporal Anomaly. Your phase dash has a reduced cooldown. Reduced cooldown? Yes. Basically about 2 seconds faster. It's a shorter cooldown. It's really not bad. You have Highlander, which is this is the kit that does the damage. The longer you kill, if you kill an enemy Titan at all, your sword core is prolonged in sword core when you have it active. Basically, you could just like shit on Titans like none of your business in this thing, and that's how you can get MVP quickly in this round. And you'll see why in the coming few days. Phase Reflex is the last core, the kit ability. It's It's actually really good to use because I've seen a lot of people use this kit as well. It's basically whenever the Titan enters the Doom state, it phases out of danger just to just as a reflex. You probably get what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is by far the best roaming Titan out there. Like if you have two Scorches on lane control or a Legion with a Scorch on lane control, they're doing the best. You have an and you're and you have a supporting Monarch on the roll, and you are a Ronin. Your job is to roam like no one's business. With a proper planning team work and everything, the tank should be holding off the majority of the center flank or stuff like that, while you basically deal with the stragglers, or in my case, saying, "Hey, defend this point. Don't let the main objective get hurt at all, and I'll be right back." I'll be right back. That's basically what it is. What the map? There are a lot of maps Ronin is useful on. The best map that Ronin is useful on is, in fact, I'm not going to lie, is Dry Dock, because that map is so open to what you can do. Blackwater Canal is out there too, because you can basically go to one of the opposite corners and quickly with Sword Core active and deal with the Mortar Titans if you're the only roaming Titan and you can't do anything about that. But yeah, that's a lot of things that you can do, and combine that with Overcore or Nuki Jack. If you're running that on the Ronin, you could do a lot of damage. Just make sure with the Nuki Jack that you are not completely screwing your team out, because if you're on Exoplanet and you Nuki Jack, you're out of your Titan is unavailable for a very short for the long duration if you're not running Titan Hunter as your pilot kit. Yes, I say run Titan Hunter on the pilot kit because one, it's a mandatory need must, because you're going to get your Titan back so quickly by rotoing twice and attacking Titans when you're rotoing them, and also all that other stuff. What else is there? But yeah, Exoplanet Ronin is beautiful on that too. It can deal with the Mortar Titans. That has a floodgate of Mortar Titans on hard, and Sword Core is beautiful on that point. Just for that, we're gonna go on to one of my favorite Titans of all that I've using since day one before I picked up and started playing with Ion, Northstar, Scorch, or Ronin or Legion or Monarch. Tone. Yep, Tone. Tone. What is there to say about this Titan? This is by far everyone's most hated Titan in the entire game, all because of a couple things. People don't know how to counter it. But in Frontier Defense, Tone is the queen of dealing damage. You have everything. Everything that you wanted for. You have the best anti-Titan weapon. You have the best core in the game. And you have the best defense in the game. What is there to say? What is there to love? This is beautiful. This is the full-on killing Titan machine. But that is not all sung in games, because you can still lose this Titan like a complete and total nuthead or idiot that really don't know how to play your Titan to its full strength. Playing Tone is basically the hardest thing you can possibly do. This is a 3-star Titan. What feels like it. But it's when game first launched before Monarch was introduced, this was a 3-star Titan because of a couple of things. One, it has the best, even though it has the best defense in the game, once it's go down, what is there to lose? Well, a lot, because Tone is easily countered by every Titan still, namely Ronin. Yes, Ronin. Ronin is Tone's worst nightmare, because the particle wall is the only defense against everything. But if the Ronin uses an arc wave on that and the wall is gone, what do you have to lose? And I'm going to be honest with you. Arc Titans and regular Ronin Titans will use that arc wave to destroy Tone's particle wall. Doesn't matter if it's reinforced or not, it goes away quickly. Just be sure to know when you drop your particle wall. With that being said, let's get on with it. Tone's primary weapon is in fact the 40 mil tracker cannon. This is basically what it is basically called an upgraded version in quotation marks, or I like to say nerfed, because well, actually it doesn't matter because this basically works around Toten's primary offense major damage. The tracker rockets. Yes, we're getting there already. What now? This is basically by far the best anti-pilot and Titan weapon in the game, so don't count it out at all just yet. You can still fire away your gun with a lock, but now, I'm getting to that point now. What Tone is really known for is basically just count to three. Count to three, fire, count to three again, fire again. That is basically the tracking rockets. Her offense is the tracker rockets. They are basically Tone's big damage dealer of the entire Titan. Not even talking salvo core. The sonar pulse is her tactical utility, and the defense is the particle wall. Moving on, we have Salvo Core, the grand champion of cores. This is by far right up there it's right above Flame Core and Laser Core, and Sword Core. This is the you're not allowed to play the game core. What this core does is that for a brief period of time, Tone will fire a barrage of rockets to the target. That crosshair in the middle of your screen is in fact that will lead the targets or the rockets to the target and allow massive damage, and it will destroy Titans quickly. How quickly, you ask? Well, if you watched any gameplay of Titanfall 2 Frontier Defense, without its full upgrade, this can basically bring Nuke Titans to their knees. To their knees. Top that all off after you fire Salvo Core, you gain access back to your primary gun, and you can acquire 3 locks. And when you do that, you can fire those tracker rounds at your opponent and basically end everything in sight with the damage power of Salvo Core. But the role that Tone was built for was in fact offense and support. Support basically her sonar pulse and her particle wall for basically protection for a short period of time. I'm going to lose my voice after this. But we've got 2 more Titans to go through after Tone, but we're not done with Tone yet. Tone has received a lot of nerfs since the launch, so it doesn't matter how people hate this Titan. It's still one of the most hated Titans in the game because, as I said, new players don't know how to play against this Titan. What do? Just count to 3. And only throw up your defenses when Tone's tracking rockets fire at her, being fired. That's basically it. The 40 mil does pitiful damage, but it's still a nasty little customer. Don't get me wrong, that splash damage is really not to be laughed at. It still does a lot of damage. Just be mindful of your surroundings when it comes to that. Next up, we have her kits. 4 of them are rock steady and basically make Tone viable and destructive as ever. The 5th one, a big nerf. Yeah, big nerf. I don't like it. I hate seeing Tone players use it because it's the worst upgrade of all. Or the worst kit. Alright. First up, we're going to talk about enhanced tracker rounds. Whenever Tone hits a crit spot on a Titan, it will do exactly acquire 2 locks. Yes, 2 locks. As you can probably see, 3 little semicircles, 3 little 3/3 of the tracking for the tracking rockets to be shown up on your crosshair. You can also you can't fake it because once you hit the crit spot, people know that you're running enhanced tracker rounds. Pulse echo, using your sonar pulse, you gain an additional second, shall I say, echo for after a short delay. Not bad. And plus, sonar pulse charged at a quick rate anyway, so it's wall hacks, but better. Rocket barrage, you gain 2 additional tracker rockets. That is massive on damage potential. It rivals enhanced tracker rounds because most tone players actually use enhanced tracker rounds or rocket barrage, since you can only use one. And basically allows you to build up your core faster too. Last but not least, we have the burst loader. This is the, shall I say, worst tone kit of them all. This is okay. What this kit does is, while aiming down sights, you can store up to 3. How should I put this? 3 locks, or 3 rounds, and you fire them all at the same time to acquire 3 locks if they all hit successfully. Now, on paper, that is basically not bad. Not bad. I'm going to push my hate comment away. It's actually not bad. It basically functions like it would have done in Titanfall 1. But when I thought burst loader, I'm thinking like a battle rifle style, like a burst fire. No, you have to zoom down sights. You fire you fire the gun and you have 2 shots. You're firing those 2 shots. But yeah, it's the worst. But because you're going to miss those shots because people will invade and Titans will evade. So there's nothing you can do about it. So my advice: just stick with the enhanced tracker rounds or rocket barrage and just aim your gun. That's all. You'll be fine at that point. Worth note that Tone can perform the roaming role. It doesn't say so because it's not in Tone's kit. But if you are running Turbo Engine, because if you are really good at building up your core quickly, because the tracker rockets build up Tone's core so quickly, and the 40 mil, you can basically do a lot of roaming. So just keep that in your back pocket. If you can roam with a Tone, by all means, go for it. Just remember, once you're out on the roaming flank, you have to return back quickly as possible. Don't stay out there too long because, one, you have so much damage potential to actually help deal with enemy Titans, and you have the best anti-Titan weapon out there, which is the 40 mil. So keep that in mind. Now, all Titans, I did fail to mention, they do come with electrical smoke. Every Titan will use it for increased damage output, and it will actually help build up their core. We're about almost an hour in on the video, and I'm sorry that I failed to mention this, but yeah, you gain your core at 20%. That's why I suggest running Overcore. A special Titan will make use of it when we get to her. First off, let's just say Tone is by far one of my favorite Titans to play with. I know the ins and outs of this Titan since it launched. I've known how to basically lob rockets up in the air, how to do all that BS that people hate about Tone. Just keep in mind, if you're playing with an experienced Tone player, just be sure to, when fire salvo core, point up. Your defenses will take a lot of it, but if you're running Ion, point up, time your Vortex shield right, launch back the Tone, because if Tone doesn't have particle wall, you're chunking the Tone for a hard case of damage to the face. Most Tone players don't like that. They like their damage output. Also, if you're an allied Titan in this mode, getting in front of a Tone when firing rocket barrage, please don't. If it's a lane that's limited on where you're going to arch these rockets, these tracker rockets, they arch so heavily. So just keep that in mind to any of your allies, that you're going to lose some damage potential at this point. All right, and next up we have Legion. Legion, the tanking Titan, the second Ogre class Titan that rivals Scorch in its own right. This is by far the interesting Titan that you can basically play as a tanker. You don't have the luxury of a flame core. You don't have the luxury of an ion energy pool. You don't have the luxury of anything at this point anymore. You are basically danking on the enemy with a big ass predator cannon as your primary, and all of your ability revolve around it. Legion is by far the tanking Titan. It can hold a lane on his own with some minor support. Just be mindful of how you do it and how you basically use this Titan. First off, I stated before, the Predator Cannon is in fact his primary. This is by far the longest reload gun, feels like the longest reload gun in Titanfall 2. It rivals Tone. But Tone's reload is faster. I'm going to say that right now. All of Legion's kits are basically revolve around the minigun. As I stated, this includes the powerful power shot that can basically, shall I say, work close quarter combat or long range, depending on your choice. But the thing is, when you switch to close quarter combat, with mode range, when you're on close quarter combat, you fire 1 bullet per round. On close quarter, you fire 2 bullets per round. So be mindful of your surroundings, or be mindful of that. Gun Shield is the defense of Legion. It basically protects Legion's entire right-hand side, except his left shoulder and his left foot. The core on this Titan is, in fact, Smart Core. It's so dank. So dank. I don't have to say it, but I'm going to anyway. What this core does, is what people really don't know when they play this Titan, is that you gain infinite ammo and will basically fire at anything that comes within range. It doesn't matter if you're in the long range or the close quarter combats, you will lock on to those said targets and deal massive damage for a short period of duration. I think the duration is about 8 seconds by default. It goes up to 10 seconds when you're running one of Legion's kits. And there's no way to extend it, because why would you want to extend a core that is so broken that basically makes the Smart Pistol blush? Yes, I said that. Because when you play Legion and you activate Smart Core, your crosshair will change to the Smart Pistol crosshair. That's why Legion is so stupid and dumb. But in Frontier Defense, it is a really good thing. You can basically use Smart Core as a last-ditch effort to basically delay the reload of your gun. You don't want to reload your gun. You want to do that extra damage. You want to do a lot of stuff. And when you're in long range with your power shot, it becomes a drill shot and can basically just punch through enemies. You become a big ass tanky North Star for a short period of time, and the reload of your offense is not that bad. Not that bad at all. But we do have a. So I do have to say something though. If you don't aim down sights and use your defense, the gun shield defense, the gun will automatically. This is one of the few Titans that can basically charge forward while using the minigun. Tone has to plant down her particle wall and stay behind it. Ion and Scorch cannot use their weaponry when they have their thermal. When Ion has Vortex and Scorch has Thermal Shield up. But Thermal Shield does damage when you get too close to it. Vortex Shield absorbs damage and can basically just be shot right back at. There's some trade-offs here. Ronin has to use Sword Block to mitigate the damage of getting close. This is basically Legion's only other rival. But Legion is so tanky enough that the Predator Cannon just shreds Ronin like no one's business. Yes, this is a Titan in multiplayer combat in PvP that most players, other than a Tone, can basically not stand up to. Doesn't matter if you're a Scorch. Legion will automatically win that fight. Because I didn't say this, but in multiplayer, Scorch only has one bullet in his mag. And he has to reload that grenade launcher every single time he fires. Which is why Scorch was basically, I'm just going to say this right now, so heavily countered when the game first launched. That's why this mode basically benefits him a lot. So, moving on to the kits. We have enhanced ammo capacity. This will increase Predator Cannon's ammo clip from 100 to 140. Great. Love it. This is my shall I say, go-to pick on Legion every single time. I love having extra bullets to basically mow down the competition. It's not that bad. You can basically, but you'll still burn through that ammo quickly. What up next? We have, let's see here, bulwark. Sensor array. Smart core lasts 2 seconds longer. Yeah, what feels like 2 seconds longer, but that 10 seconds is something. Don't need. No, just we're moving on. Bulwark. Gun shield will block increased damage. Basically, the shield is doubled, and basically it acts like a reinforced particle wall. Lightweight alloys. Oh, this is a very fun kit to use. When aiming down sights with the gun shield on both close quarters and your long range, you are basically how do I say this? You walk faster. It actually works well with the gun shield too. Hidden compartment is the last upgrade of Legion. Predator Cannon. Well, actually no. Hidden compartment allows your power shot or the drill shot, or your power shot offensive to gain 2 charges. The damage is reduced by 15%. It's a great trade-off. How could you not go wrong? Because you got a trade-off of doing shotgun. You can basically be in sniper mode and perform 2 shots at the cost of 1. Yeah, power shot consumes 1 bullet from Legion's Predator Cannon, so you'll see the difference a lot. But I think that's enough talking about Legion. I mean, what is there to talk about Legion? Like, Legion is a tank. He excels at basically holding down lanes. He uses a smart core. Overcore is a good choice for him. And let's just say we've saved the best for last. The biggest Titan customization you could possibly do is Monarch, the butterfly of all the Titans. This is by far the most interesting Titan to play with, and I hope you basically enjoy what she brings to the table in this mode. Let's see, and let's dive right in. Monarch, the Vanguard class Titan, the support role of Frontier Defense. This is by far the hardest Titan to master, and basically can be the easiest Titan to master if you are really good at Titan combat. Monarch's kit is basically reliantly about, how do I put this? Monarch's entire core rounds upgrades. Upgrades. Now, before we get to the upgrade part, because that is going to be one hell of a juicy little tangent, I've got to basically say this downright. Keep in mind, Monarch has to use her core at least once to gain the benefits of the either core upgrades 1, 2, or 3. Monarch does not start with these core upgrades. You have to work for them. A Monarch that dies early on in the game mode of any type, you will basically happen. Or on those line of terms. First off, let's talk about her main weapon. The Exo 16 20mm chain gun, a returning weapon from Titanfall 1. This is by far the best pilot. It's basically it can basically mock the Legion's chain gun, but don't mock Legion's chain gun because the Predator Cannon still does the damage perfectly. but the XO16 has a spray, but it also does a lot better. It's basically another anti-pilot killing weaponry, and also deals with infantry pretty well by default. You have another returning ordnance from Titanfall 1, rocket salvo as the offensive. This fires six rockets in random directions. Great for burst damage. Nothing more. You can basically... the tactical is rearm. This ability refreshes everything. Your defense, your offense, and your dash is taken off cooldown. Meaning that then the rearm does have a very long cooldown. It's long. It's a long cooldown, but it's not long enough. But you'll feel it when you start using it a lot. Lastly, we have Energy Siphon as a defense. This basically grants shields to Monarch when you basically hit them. The bigger the heavily armored the target, the more shield you gain. Keep that in mind. Now, for oh boy, because here's the thing about why I say like Energy Siphon grants a shield for a short period, a small little shield in player versus player combat. Shields are a big thing because one, all Titans, as I've stated, don't spawn with shields in any mode, so that's the key point. The thing is, if you are facing against a Tone that has enhanced tracker rounds, or a North Star that loves to hit your crit for massive damage, your shields can just shut that off for a short period of time, which is basically beautiful. But we're not on the player versus player combat, but I'm just sharing some knowledge about that. First, we're getting into Monarch's bread and butter. The bread and butter of this Titan. Upgrade cores 1, 2, and 3. There are 9 options that are consisted of basically 3 lists. Each core upgrade contains at least 3. Count them, 3 upgrades that you can possibly choose from to go from dank to chain gun build to a tanking little Monarch that says no to everyone and is just a pain in the ass to kill. Okay, first up is Upgrade Core 1. You have 3 options to choose from. First option, Arc Rounds. Oh baby. This is a must pick in Titanfall, in the Frontier Defense. When you basically get to when you basically face Nuke Titans, what this core upgrade does is that it just deals extra damage and plus it basically gets rid of shields. It does extra damage to shield targets, drains the vortex shields from Ion, and by some silly reason with math and stuff like that, it hurts Scorch. This is a core upgrade one that a Monarch can destroy, can 1v1 as Scorch. It increases the chain gun's ammo capacity from 40, which is standard, to 50, which is, oh my good gracious. And also deals more damage as well, overall. Next up, we have missile racks. Instead of from your usual firing 6 missiles on Monarch, you fire 12. This is by far one of the interesting choices to make. Don't get me wrong, I've used this so many times and I've got scolded for it, but I'm just having fun with Monarch at the first time. When you start using arc rounds, then after you had fun with missile, you could see the damage. You could see the potential here with arc rounds instead of missile racks. It's really fun to use missile racks still. Don't get me wrong, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Just be mindful when you have a max out Monarch, you do get a random Core 1 upgrade when you select one other one. So you have a 50-50 shot of getting either energy transfer or missile racks. Moving on, we have energy transfer. By sacrificing your energy siphon, you can give an ally shields. This is one of the core features of why Monarch is a support Titan. It can give shields. This is a support. It's basically known as a support Titan. Yeah, no, thank you. If you want to basically become a support Titan, play this Titan to where you actually get the second smoke upgrade. Yes, there is a smoke upgrade, which allows you to give shields to your opponents at the cost of giving yourself shields with the smoke. But we're gonna get to Core 2, which is where all the fun begins. Core 2 is by far has some really good options. The potential of basically where builds start to come into effect. First off, you have where is it? Rearm and reload. Reloading the gun faster and basically reducing rearm speeds. That's really good. That's actually kind of good. It basically allows rearm reload to basically no longer be slow, but it's really nice. Next up, this is basically a build for the chain gun. Next up, we have Maelstrom. Maelstrom. This is by far the best Core 2 upgrade you could give Monarch. Not only are you basically playing in a mode that has nothing but Titans, you deal extra damage to Titans, and not to mention, if you upgrade this Titan to where you actually gain additional shields, you can basically stand in that smoke and gain shields while basically being in a punch fight or using your gun, and basically terminating them on the spot. We'll get to that shortly when we explain Monarch's kits. Last but not least, we have Energy Field. Energy Siphon affects a large area at the point of impact. This is by far the worst Core 2 upgrade. This is a meme. A meme. But I don't know how you can use it, so if anyone can find out how to use it, be my guest. I'm just gonna and basically post a video. I'll watch it and see how you guys do. Core 3 is where you are at max power. This is by far the best and the best of the best. This is where all the fun happens. All right. What you have to choose from is multi-target missiles. Monarch becomes a tone. But it doesn't become a full-out tone, but you become a tone for a short period of time. But it's actually best to use the rocket salvo as your core upgrade 1. So that's fun to have fun if you want to have fun. Next up, we have Superior Chassis. This is by far the best Core 3 upgrade that you can give Monarch. This is the tank Monarch build, and holy, this is no. You don't no. How do I say this? Because the thing is, this basically turns a Monarch into a mobile Scorch and Legion. One, it basically imagine, you know when I said earlier that Scorch has a kit called Tempered Plating where it removes his crits? Superior Chassis does that, plus more. You gain Ogre class health, and you no longer have a weakness. You no longer have your crits. And if you're running Maelstrom, you have... Oh, need I say more? This is by far the best ability. What you don't have, but the top of the chain gun build, is in fact Accelerator. This is a returning upgrade from Titanfall 1's chain gun. But it still is everything there. It deals more damage, and it's alright for the chain gun build. But that's all the upgrades for Monarch. Let's move on to Monarch's core kits. This is a 50-50. Basically acts like a 50-50. So just take this with a big grain of salt if you don't like what you're about to hear. First up, we have Shield Empire. Complete total trash, but on paper, 25% to your shield. That's not bad. I used it a couple times when I first launched, so then I realized the power of Energy Thief. What this does is that not only do you steal a battery from a Doomed Titan when performing an execution, you literally, I mean literally, gain a battery, plus shields, plus a small health boost, plus 10% your core from one little kit. That's how you get to core 3 as quickly as possible. Monarch loves this core. It benefits it. You have the other one is the rapid rearm. It basically reduces the cooldown of rearm by 5 seconds. Oh wow, 5 seconds! Oh dear lord, that's actually good to actually help with the chain gun build if I remember correct. If I don't know, I don't know how to do it. Maybe I'll try that. Survival of the fittest. Complete and total trash in frontier defense. There's no point unless you want to. If you're hijacking a battery from a Titan and a pilot gives you're out of doomsday. That's cool. Okay, it's might as well be best is basically wait till the end of the wave to actually get an amp battery because the survival fitness does the same thing what an amp battery does. It gives your Titan a 25% health boost. That's it. And we are going to be and that's Monarch for you. But let's finish this off with the roles. I would say play the roles to the best of your ability. I mean, like if you're doing so well with what you know how to do, like if you can go beyond support, go beyond support. Same thing. But if you're a tank, please don't do the roaming at all because you're hurting your team on lane control. You're slow and you're best at lane control. That's basically it. Titanfall 1, these Titans are fragile. You are going to lose them. If you don't know how to play your Titans to their best abilities, take some practice, play a lot of regular games, and get better at the Titan versus Titan combat. You will see a difference, and if you played a lot of multiplayer Titan versus Titan combat, play around that too, and you'll be fine. You'll do bad. You won't be bad. You'll get better at it. Last but not least, we have the frontier defense difficulties. These are basically what you usually get. And when I said earlier about the credit earns that you get at the end of each wave, this is basically easy and regular share. I believe share the same amount of credits. So whatever. Easy. It's great for newcomers to the game that haven't played this mode before. No harm done. Regular is recommended for more experienced players of the game, like if they actually had their feet dipped into the campaign and want to do a challenge instead of playing with BT7274. Hard, it gets harder, so basically it's still recommended for experienced and veteran players are welcome to the mode, but skill is required. Veterans, Master, Veterans is for the best of the best that know exactly what you're doing. The best will succeed. Insane. You will not survive. Bring your A game. Veterans know how to play this mode well. Please keep that in mind, okay? You have one retry on that mode. So, please, work with your team. Alright? Take care, everyone. See you next time.